This video is proudly sponsored by Elias Dry Cleaners.
When somebody mentions Serbia, probably the first association is tennis player Novak Djokovic or scientist Nikola Tesla. But what else do you know about Serbs? My name is Lidija and this is Multicultural Barnet. Today I have great opportunity to speak with Goran. Goran is living in Barnet. He is from Serbia, but also now we can say he's British. So Goran, what brings you to London?
My parents brought me to London in 1996 when I was about 13 years old.
We have a really great opportunity to speak with Nesh. Nesh is really interesting, and what I like about this story is that Nesh came to London when he was 30. So you were 30, so why you decided to come to UK?
I was kind of already finished product, so I knew exactly what I want to do. I was already doing a lot of things back in my former country, and there were two areas of my main interest. One was fitness, and another one was philosophy. So I achieved everything I could have possibly achieved in my original country, and but I was quite independent as well. So I had lots of ideas which in a way required a slightly different social structure, different political kind of system. And I felt a little bit tight in Yugoslavia in those days because the country was very different. In those days, having a private business wasn't really something that happened often. So if you want to do your own business, your own projects, it was relatively difficult. Britain is actually putting an emphasis rather on an individual, and as an individual, if you prosper, if you excel, if you develop your talents, you can as such contribute to the society much more.
Having been born in London, I'm the third generation living here since my grandparents immigrated from former Yugoslavia by the end of the Second World War, so that was in 1945. I do consider myself to be a Brit, having lived here for such a long time. However, I did move back to Serbia at some point when I was 6 years old. So my parents decided to do this, so I learned the culture and the language. It shaped me quite a bit living in Serbia. I've learned obviously a lot about our culture.
The biggest challenges were adapting to a new school. I was really surprised that when we started going to school, it was Christ College in Finchley, and the biggest challenge was that it turned out to be an all-boys school, which was a bit of a shock when I joined. The language barrier was slightly there. I remember when I started going to school at first, I was writing notes in Serbian before I started then writing them in English, because I couldn't write as quickly in English as I could in Serbian.
The biggest challenge was language, right? As a tool of communication, a language is essential. So I could not speak English fluently, and that was the problem. So I had to learn as fast as I possibly could, because when you speak the language, you can express yourself, you can let people know what you want, what you can do, and then obviously you can continue with your further education and improvement in all areas of your life. But without a language, that is very difficult to achieve. And also, it was very important to create a circle of people, to actually create your own peer of people who are on the same level as you and who are in the same areas of interest as you, to live in the community, in the multicultural community, meaning that you have to mingle and communicate with people from all areas, from all different nationalities, different cultures. This is what London offers, and this is a jackpot opportunity, seriously. So if you are in London and you just stick to Serbian community, you won't do much. But you need to open up and talk to everybody. London is great for that, and I've seen most of the world, and I never came across anything like.
UK, especially London, is very multicultural. So almost everyone I know is of some different background. So I've never felt like alienated in this country or city. I've never felt even too different to everyone else because everyone's grown up with parents that I know coming from different areas. So I feel like growing up here, having been born here, in some ways I've been eased into the culture a lot easier than someone who would have moved here.
Serbian people love to host dinners. We love having loads of friends. So if you do come over to a Serbian household and you're offered food, never reject food. That's like the biggest insult. I've definitely taken that on here as well. I love to bring over people from different cultures from all over the world, not just Serbian people, to have lunch and barbecues. My husband makes amazing barbecues, so definitely coming into the summer season now we'll have a lot of that.
In Serbia there is plum brandy called rakia, which is something that pretty much every household makes for themselves, and it's you're led to believe that rakia cures everything, from cleaning automobile parts to clearing killing bacteria and clearing colds and headaches.
I don't want to exaggerate on hospitality. I mean, I know people from all walks, corners of the world, and they're all extremely friendly and hospitable. That's not a question about it. But yeah, they like to, as I go to my Japanese friends, and obviously I want them to cook for me Japanese food. This is why we give them food from our own background, and they love it. We have a lot of stuff like that. Food is obviously, especially sweets, extremely sweet. I remember my first visits to the Western world when I was offered cake or something like that. I couldn't believe it, how people can eat it, because it wasn't sweet enough. When you compare that to baklava and tulumba and other stuff that we eat, which is obviously directly Turkish influence.
Serbians are Orthodox Christians, a bit like Russians and the Greek, meaning that Christmas falls in the middle of Christmas and New Year fall in the middle of January, so it moves as opposed to the rest of the world, which is really great for me because I get 2 sets of presents.
By living in Serbia and living now here, and you're going very often to visit Serbia, what's your fondest memory from there?
The memory that keeps on revisiting me, I think, is going back for summer holidays. So when school finishes here, we used to go back to Serbia the next day, literally the next day. And I remember it being so warm. So it was June, it was like 40 degrees, and we would land in the afternoon. So first thing, you would go for a walk in the neighborhood, and you would just feel this warm, just this warmth outside.
That we don't have here in
we
London.
I'm afraid to have here, but that was my favorite part of going back. I think that first day and feeling you're home finally after a long period of time. So yeah, that first walk was always the best for me.
It sounds like a really good match. So living here and going there for
yes,
summer holidays.
Absolutely. I think I didn't appreciate as much before when I was younger, because I thought I really wanted to go back and I wanted to stay. But having now lived so long here, I think I understand and appreciate now the benefits this country would give you as opposed to benefits that Serbia would give you. So I think a good combination is the key.
I hope you have learned something new about Serbian community in Barnet. Follow us on social media and see you next time.